Hello everybody, back again with another AMA video here in the Hanguk office, and let me switch to the camera for Facebook here. Hello. We just ran our brand new Sheila University promo video that we finished shooting. For people on YouTube, you can view that on our YouTube channel. For people on the Facebook stream, we just finished showing that to you just now. For the video, we have subtitles in English as well as Spanish, Italian, and Swedish. So if you happen to have friends that don't speak English, that speak those other languages, feel free to let them know and they can watch subtitles on the video in their native language. Just wanted to give you some reminders as I normally do. We'll be at KCON in New York, June 23rd and 24th. You can also attend our presentation we're going to have there about living and studying in Korea. There'll be some great prizes and giveaways, free tuition to 2 of our schools, as well as stay at Borderless House, which is our share house partner. We'll have a lot of promo items from our partner schools as well, as I showed on the last video, such as the notebook, pen, and post-it note giveaway, and the cell phone smart ring, and some other information from the schools as well as from us at Google Hanguk. Other reminders are study trips. We're still accepting applications to those. Also, we'll be opening up our winter trip, Winterful Korea, very soon. Next week, look for that application as well as the information to go up, be updated on our website. The Hanguk University application, it opens officially on June 1st, but you can of course send us documents before then. It closes June 25th, so be sure to have everything to us by then. You will also get issued your invoice from the school once you submit all your documents. Once you pay the invoice, then you're able to officially get your visa if you need one. Also, still in the news is a lot of press about North Korea and kind of the situation between North Korea, South Korea, the states, the surrounding region. Again, the day-to-day life here is as normal as ever. With the new president, both in Korea and then with the administration in the US, as well as things that North Korea does from time to time, it's, again, it doesn't affect the day-to-day very much, if at all. People are not really worried about it. There's nothing that you should really fear if you are considering coming to Korea to study. I myself just took a small weekend trip and flew out of Korea and flew back, and it's not like Korea was on a heightened state of awareness at the airport or anything. It's just like a normal day. Also, as you know, Eddie and I visited a bunch of different places during April relating to our study trips. But if there is a specific place that you'd like us to visit, then just please let us know. You can send us an email or comment on this video or any other social media that we have, and we'd be happy to consider going and visiting there and show you all the neat and fun things there are to do in Korea. We do normally try to focus on things within Seoul, since that's where we're based. But if it's something that's not too far away, then we of course can consider visiting there to show you around. Also, next week in Korea, there's a vacation for Memorial Day, and the office will be closed on that day. So if you are trying to get in touch with us, there may be a slight delay due to the national holiday, Memorial Day on June 6th. Also, to make sure you get the notifications about our live stream and things we post on our social media otherwise, besides the live videos, be sure to turn on your notifications. For YouTube, it's a little bell, and for Facebook, just make sure that you sign up for excuse me, you sign up for the notifications, and on the live video you can also turn on notifications for those as well. So to make sure that you are in the know for every time we stream, every time we post new content. I know a lot of you like and follow us already, but for the live streams especially, we really appreciate when people join us. Today the time is a little different. It's we're doing it in the afternoon and as opposed to our normal time at noon Korea time. So if there is a better time for me to do the live stream on a periodic basis, feel free to comment. We try to accommodate the many different time zones of English speakers. Right now, probably people that speak English on this side of the globe, like Australia, New Zealand, and Southeast Asia, have it during their evening time, while people in, like, say, Canada and the US are currently probably asleep, but they can watch it later. Europe as well, I believe. Great Britain, it's probably early in the morning there. So wherever you are, you can, of course, watch the live stream later. But if you are available when we do it, then we are very happy that you're joining us. And again, for those that haven't seen my live stream before, I'm Nathan Maloney, and I am the International Student Coordinator here at Google Hanguk. The other thing we like to tell you about are, let's see, besides the Sheila video, we're going to have many other videos go out. So we were filming in Busan, and we filmed in Daegu, and we're also filmed more here in Seoul. So probably within the next month or two, we'll have more of those promotional videos out, similar to the Sheila one. So if you are still curious about some of other schools that are on our website but don't have a video yet, just sit tight. We will have those very shortly. For the schools that do have videos, such as Hanguk and Lexus and now Sheila, all the videos are packed with information such as teacher interviews and student interviews, as well as shots from within the school and the school area. So you should get a pretty good idea about what your life might be as a student there. So I think it's time to jump into the questions. And the first thing I want to talk about is a question I get kind of often, is that some people are either studying Japanese or maybe they're studying another Asian language, and they think it'd be good to also pick up Korean. And so how similar are Japanese and Korean? So both of them have vocabulary that's based on Chinese, so a lot of words are similar. But again, sometimes the pronunciations are different. So if you have a background in, say, Chinese or Japanese, and you want to pick up Korean, you already have a leg up. Japanese grammar is very similar to Korean grammar in terms of the structure, but not necessarily the syntax. So similar to Korean, Japanese has things like subject and object particles, and the general sentence structure is very similar to Korean. In terms of the vocabulary, as I said, you may be hit or miss with what may be a Chinese-based word in terms of shared vocabulary. But the good thing about Korean is that since Hangul was invented, Chinese characters have almost disappeared from the writing system in Korea. While they're still used kind of infrequently now, like maybe they're used in some business names or some other instances like that, but really they've disappeared from daily writing, which is unlike Japanese, where, as you know, there's a bunch of kanji that you should still know. You should know thousands to be considered literate. While with Korean, you don't necessarily have to know hanja, which is the Korean word for the Chinese characters. It can help, but it's not necessary. And actually, a lot of schools don't necessarily teach you hanja anymore. They may say, oh, by the way, like this word in hanja is this, but it's not like hanja is a big part of the curriculum anymore, because Hangul was invented to make writing simpler. And so for those learning Korean, learning the Korean writing system is very easy. I mean, it's phonetic, and you can teach yourself the alphabet quite quickly, and then it's just a matter of learning everything else that goes with learning language, which I think is much different than Japanese. It has two different phonetic writing systems, and it also has all the kanji. So in terms of learning like the reading and writing, or at least the pronunciation and the writing system, I believe Korean is much, much easier. And then, as I said, with grammar, the structure itself is very similar to Japanese, except for the syntax and particles and such. So for those that have a base again in Chinese or Japanese, you're going to be a step ahead of your classmates. Another question I get is, do my grades matter from college or high school when I'm applying to one of these Korean language programs? And in all honesty, they don't, as long as you graduated. So maybe you're not that great a student and you graduated by the skin of your teeth. That's actually fine for these Korean language schools. They just want to make sure that you have a certain level of education, and normally that's high school level. And I know the systems are a little different depending on which country you went to school in, especially a country like, say, Germany. But as long as you have some document that is from your secondary education that can prove you finished a certain level, we can show that to the school and they can kind of vet like, oh, that's fine or that's not fine. We haven't really had a problem with that so far, even with the many different countries that we get applications from. As long as you say, I've been to high school and I graduated, and you can show like a diploma, you can show some type of certificate, you passed these tests, you did all the requirements you needed to get out of high school and proceed to university. That would qualify you. And if for some odd reason you don't have something like a diploma or a transcript that shows that you graduated on a certain date, as long as you have a document that basically says a university would accept this level of education for admission, then we can use that. So some people have submitted like a matriculation letter or an admission letter to university or something like that for an undergraduate program, and that works as well. Another question I get is about age. The minimum age that you can enter these programs in is normally 18 years old. While there are some exceptions, 18 is what they like to see. I know for our Youth Korea trip that of course is an exception. We accept people ages 14 to 17 from that. But for the full-time programs at universities, 18 is pretty much the threshold for minimum age, and there actually is no maximum age. Like, in fact, I had a class or someone that was learning when I was learning that was probably in their 60s, if not older. So you're never too old to start studying Korean language. The age range when I was learning was probably anywhere from like 18 years old up to, like I said, 60s or even 70s. And I don't think you should let that discourage you. Like, if you're a quote-unquote older student or if you're quote-unquote younger student, I think you'll be able to join these programs and learn just like anyone else. Another thing I get a lot is like, when can I start? You can pretty much start almost any month of the year, but you should look on our website for when schools start their terms. So for instance, if I look at the schedule here, I can start, depending on the school, I could start in January, February, March, April, June, August, September, October, December. So that's like almost the whole year where we can have someone start for the university programs. And with Lexis Korea, you can start any Monday. So really you can start anytime during the year. But if you have a preferred school, we ask you to check out the school pages on our website, because that can tell you exactly what months are available for that school. So for instance, Sungkyunkwan University, also known as SKKU, they have 6 different terms throughout the year. So you can actually start there at a variety of different times all throughout the year. If you want to start when it's really cold in Korea in January, feel free. If you want to start when it's really hot, like in August, that's great. If you want to start when it's nice and cool, but not cold, October, and also in the spring, like say April is a good time. So SKKU is quite nice in that it has these 6 terms throughout the year that you can start. For other schools, they're normally 4 terms, and they're normally March, June, September, December. This is, the one exception is Shilla University. They run 20-week terms instead of the 10-week, so they only have 2 main terms. which follow kind of like an academic schedule where you can start in March or September. But again, all this information is on our website, and I do recommend you reviewing that if you are curious about exactly when you can start. Another thing is that people know that they have to get an apostle or a consular certification on their documents, but that's sometimes one of the last things people wait to do, because sometimes the process is not straightforward. They have to research it with their own government or their local government, their state government, depending on the document, and this takes time. Normally it can take a week or two. I've heard of people waiting till the last minute, and then they want to get their apostle, their consular certification, and they have everything to us except for that certification, and it ends up that they have to wait until next term because it took too long for the government to give them back their document. And what this basically says is that you can use this document internationally, and that the document is certified as not being fake, or it's a real like diploma, or it's a real transcript. It can be used for something like admission to a educational institution outside of your home country. And while this process can seem kind of burdensome, and you may have some extra fees you have to pay to get this certification, it's required. There's really no way out of it. A lot of people ask like, oh, do I absolutely have to have this? Do I absolutely have to go to my embassy or my consulate? Do I absolutely have to send this away to get an apostle to my state government or federal government? And the answer is basically yes. The only reason why you wouldn't have to get this certification or apostle is like if you attend a program where you don't need a visa, but most people attend a program long enough to where they have to have these documents certified. This is so you don't go to a website and print off some phony certificate. This is so the university knows you finished a certain amount of curriculum, that you graduated high school or university, or a vocational program, or a technical college, an associate's degree, something at high school or higher. And it's just to verify that these documents are in fact real documents. And unfortunately, there's nothing we can do to get you quote unquote out of this process. You have to do it in order for the schools to process your application. And this has been kind of a hang up for some people, but just be aware. I've been telling people now that the two things that people have the most trouble with are the document certification, which is one that I talked about, and proving your financial stability if you need a visa. Right now, immigration and the schools require quite a high amount. Most often it's at least $9,000 or equivalent, and that's just to prove that you're not going to end up on the street after you pay your tuition, after you get your flight ticket and all this stuff. All these expenses you incur almost immediately once you apply and get accepted to language school. It's to make sure that you're going to have food to feed yourself, to get accommodation, and while this money might not be spent immediately, you may only have to pay tuition kind of upfront or pay for your housing upfront. You're like, why do I have to show that I have 9 times the amount of money I need? It's to make sure that you're going to be stable once you get here and not end up in a dire financial situation. Let's see. Again, my name's Nathan. I'm the International Student Coordinator here at Hanguk. We are doing our 6th AMA, I believe. And thank you all for joining us. And make sure to turn on your notifications. If you continue to view us regularly, that'll make it easy for you to get notified every time we schedule a live stream or post content. So I will be doing these every Monday, as I've mentioned before. Today the time is a little different due to my schedule, but normally we do them at noon Korean time every Monday, so we can have lunch together and talk about living and studying in Korea. Another question is so I've submitted all my documents to you, but I'm missing one thing. I'm missing an apostle. I need my bank statement or something. So some people say, oh, can I have just a little more time? Can I have more time? And We have maybe a couple day grace period with some of the schools, but other than that, they're pretty strict about their application period. So if we tell you we need everything by May 31st, for example, then that's when you have to have everything completed. The application form, your certified documents, your bank statement, proof of insurance, anything like that that we ask about, we need that by that deadline. That's a deadline that the schools normally have, and just because they're not only receiving applications from us, they're receiving probably hundreds and hundreds of applications from other sources too. So besides all of our applications, so it's just to show courtesy to them, and also to make sure that you get a spot in language school. So unfortunately, if you have a document that you haven't gotten yet that you need to submit to us and is past the deadline, you probably need to consider the next term or another term in the future. Is there a question? Yes. So Wonders Magic Nightcore says, thank you helped me understand more. Grateful that I found your channel. You're very welcome. If you can go back and watch our other AMAs, you can probably find out even more information. We post videos out in Seoul. We post videos about our schools, like the promo video we showed earlier today. So we really appreciate leaving the nice comments, and hope you get to join us again for another AMA soon. Thanks, Eddie. So let's see, what else can I discuss here with you today? For things like, again, we unfortunately at this time don't support programs that are not Korean language programs. Many people say, oh, I want to study like some type of degree seeking program in Korea, which is great. However, a lot of times before that, you need some type of Korean language requirement. So that's what we can help you with. You may look up an undergraduate program, and it may say all undergraduates need to have a topic level 4 before they enter this program, like as an application requirement. And that's where we can come in and help you acquire that, help you apply to language school, study Korean, and then later join undergraduate or graduate program, or maybe you're interested in studying something else within Korea besides Korean, but many people do need some sort of Korean language requirement, and that may be something like attending that university's Korean Language Institute, or attending say language school somewhere else and then taking the topic and then submitting that score. My advice is that if you do want to attend university in Korea and the program is not in, say, English, like that can be common these days, although it's not as common as you would think, to study Korean in Korea before, which is of course where we can help. Of course, we can help you with accommodation as well. So if you study at one of our universities, some of them have dormitories, some of them are close to our share houses or mini studios. So you can of course let us know your preference, and then we can find something for you. So you're not just kind of thrown into language school with no assistance. We support all our students once they get to Korea. We can help you with some of the logistics about settling here, help you get a SIM card. We have events that we do for meeting Koreans, networking with us, as well as other people here in Korea. So we are a full support service. It continues through your language education here in Korea. And you can continue to send us messages and emails once you start your program. Don't think we just cut you off. Like once you get into school and have your visa, we definitely communicate with current students, former students, and of course potential students, like many of you may be watching this video. Let's see, do I have any other questions that I get often? A lot of people normally ask if the prices that we quote include accommodation, and unless it's something like our study trips, the tuition payments and the accommodation fee are separate. So let's say I apply to Hanguk University, for example. You can see the tuition price on our website, on our school page, but then you should visit the accommodation page if you're not interested in the dormitory. If you are interested in the dormitory, we normally send that information direct to you about the rules and regulations and prices about the dormitory. But if you're interested in, say, like a mini studio or something, we have general pricing on our website. And if you're curious about something like the total cost for a year, the total cost for 6 months living in Korea, I did a video about the cost of living in Korea a little while ago on our YouTube channel and also on Facebook, I believe, so you can check that out. Mostly, I think people just want a flat number. They say, oh, well, tell me a number. I want to know if I have to have 10,000 US dollars. I want to know if I have 15,000 US dollars. Some of the costs of living, of course, are up to you, like how much you eat out, how much you're going to travel in Korea, or things like that. We can tell you kind of fixed costs, like cost of books, cost of tuition, cost of accommodation. But in terms of like your budget and how you want to enjoy Korea, you kind of have to factor that in yourself. And I think the cost of living video does a good job of that. I wish I had like a magic number I could tell everyone for just 3, 6, 9, 12 months. But besides the fixed costs that I mentioned earlier, kind of tuition and accommodation, some of those costs are obviously up to you and your spending habits and your lifestyle. So if you can kind of figure that out per month, then you can just multiply by how many months you're here. Same thing with tuition, same thing with accommodation costs. Make yourself a spreadsheet or whip out your calculator or something and calculate cost per month and multiply from there, I think is the easiest way. Sometimes people will do it per term, so they say I'm going to study 2 terms, so I want to know the cost per term. Of course, the tuition is broken up per term, so depending on your accommodation, that may coincide or not. Sometimes the accommodation is per month, or the dormitories may follow a different schedule. So just be aware of these things when you start budgeting for your time in Korea. And if you do have a specific question, then of course I can help answer that. But otherwise, with budgeting, I recommend reading all of our website, especially the school pages and the accommodation pages, and then kind of taking your best judgment from there on, well, how much do I need for food? How much am I going to need for transportation? Do I want to travel on the weekends to somewhere in Korea? Do I want to attend some event that costs money? All those things you can consider. And if you're wondering about your budget, if you're kind of right on that threshold of showing financial stability, and you're really worried about your budget, and you don't want to just be stuck in class all the time, there are a bunch of free things you can do here, especially in Seoul. And there are ways to enjoy yourself and have fun without spending too much money. So I advise you watch the videos that Eddie and I have made, going out in Seoul to a market, or we went to COEX, to SM Town there. We went to the Folk Village. Some of these things are free or cost not that much money, and we of course can help you get acquainted with things in Seoul and Korea through these videos we've been making. So if you say, you can comment, say, oh, Nathan, my budget is going to be kind of tight in Korea. Can you show me some fun but free things to do while I am studying and living in Korea? We're more than happy to research and find some place to show you. We're coming right up on 40 minutes here, so I believe I'm going to wrap it up soon. Again, I'm Nathan. I'm the International Student Coordinator here at Gogo Hanguk. We help you live and study in Korea, and we will be at KCON in New York this coming June. And don't forget to go to our presentation there, where you can win some great prizes. You can win free tuition to 2 of our language school partners. You could win free stay at our share house partner Borderless House, and we'll have some great giveaways as well from our schools and from us. So I hope to see you there. We have some fellow coworkers that will be attending, so you'll see of course our blue shirts and our banner and things at the booth, and then you can also enjoy our presentation that's going to be in a separate panel tent. So let's see if there, Eddie, do we have any other comments or things from YouTube? No? Okay. Facebook, let me just see. Doesn't look like we have anything from Facebook right now. I think I'm gonna wrap it up right now. So every Monday you can join us for a live AMA by myself. And if you do have questions, if you have anything you're curious about living and studying in Korea, then please let us know and I will do my best to answer the questions here. If not, reply to you individually. And join us next week for another live video. And if you leave a recommendation or something that you want Eddie and I or any of our other coordinators too to go check out, then we will do our best to visit that place with you and videotape it as well.
Did you tell Lexus Korea we are going to?
Yes. So we're going to be visiting Lexus Korea again. We've been there a couple of times. This time it's going to be a special class on the TOPIK exam. So I know a lot of you have been curious about taking the exam, as well as what score is a good score, how long it takes to study up for this test. So we'll be able to experience a class at Lexus Korea about that, and also talk with some people about their experiences with studying for the topic. So look for that very soon, and we will see you next week.